This time we're in order. Stokes County Board of Commissioners, reference rezoning, Stokes County Planning and Community Development. At this time, I'll ask Commissioner Mendenhall if he'll give the invocation.
Right. Stand if you would. Almighty, gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today and we ask for thy guidance, thy wisdom. And Lord, as we go through these many, many difficulties that are in front of us at this time, we ask for your hand upon them. So many people lost their homes, lost everything they had. Over 100 people that they know of at this time passed away during these floods and the storms that hit Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. And it just, the views that you were able to see on TV of what happened, it's just unbelievable. And we know that we can turn to you and ask for your guidance upon these families. It's just unreal. And Lord, we also ask for your hand upon our world right now. The turmoil that is going on in so many parts of the country, not just here. I'm talking about the Middle East, Russia, Ukraine, all the countries that are right now embattled. And so, Lord, we ask that you reach down and put a hand upon all of these. Now, Lord, we ask for your hand upon our meeting here tonight, our planning meeting, that you will give us the guidance and wisdom to make the right decisions. All of these things we ask in our precious name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get you to read, Amber, the disclosure of conflict of interest?
Sure. Before moving further, does any Board of Commissioner have a conflict with any of the items on the agenda for tonight, or one that could be perceived as a conflict of interest?
Conflict. I'll entertain a motion for approval of agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any additional comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we will open the public hearing. And we have one person signed up, Connie Hughes. You'll just come up to the podium.
This on.
Yes.
Okay. Connie Hughes, I live at 1305 Pringle Road in Lawsonville. I have a letter that I also would like to read, if that's okay, from my brother, who is a landowner beside of me. The property that we were talking about is the one that is being brought to you tonight about the, that has the open air restaurant, the food to table, also the RV park as a part of that, okay? So that property backs up to Little Mountain, which is my family's land, and we have owned for a very long time. It was handed down to us. My brother doesn't live here, but he did want to send a letter because he was called from work and could not get here with the traffic roads he was going to carry through with from the hurricane. And I didn't get to work on it as much as I wanted to this weekend because my niece was part of the Asheville group that was hit this weekend, and it's my concerns went elsewhere. But I'd like to read his letter first.
Sure.
He said, "My name is Darrell Lawson, and my land joins the land in this business plan. I'm unavailable to be there tonight, and I'm hoping my sister can voice my concerns. He wanted to state he grew up on this farm and it has been in his family for generations. The majority of Little Mountain, as mentioned, the business plan I received is the Lawson's land. I take offense to someone trying to make money from this when unless people are trespassing, you never see the top of the mountain. I don't know where the name came in. This was his words, not mine. The concerns he has in the proposal is what assurances do I have that people will not trespass on the land? Will it be monitored daily 24/7 to ensure people are not trespassing? Do not feel it should be liable to be put on just an 8-foot fence, which he feels like he would have to do to safely secure his land. He hunts the land, so does his son, who doesn't live here, but they do come in and hunt. He also was talking about the other individuals whose land also joins the property and plan as well. During the hunting season, people coming into camp, what's the security of those boundaries there? Do they know their boundaries? Are they going to know the boundaries? That's his concern. Because he's not taking concern other than what's on his land. They cross over, he can't, if this business venture does not work out, what is the cleanup plan so we do not have to see the buildings in despair as we've seen in the past, and ultimately bringing down property value? Thank you for allowing me to voice my concern. That was from him. I tried to brief him a little bit on the meeting that was in planning last week, and tried to address some of the concerns that he had. I think my biggest concern, and I even voiced that to Brandon and to Mo at the time, the biggest thing is being able to monitor it. And I know they said they live a mile away and they won't be there 24/7, but I know the RV parks in the area that I'm familiar with, Black Dog, those are my personal friends. We support them very highly. They have people 24/7 that's monitoring everything. And that's a huge concern, especially with the aging elder community that we have. We are concerned with that. I'm concerned with property value, with what my property has just come in and valued at as far as appraisals. There's a lot of concern there, and I see a lot of RV parks coming up into the community or into Stokes County. I think agritourism is great. I support it. I'm in network meetings. I'm all for it. I'm a realtor. I do this. But I do feel like we need to back up a little bit and see what we have, how it's going with what we already have implemented in RV parks. Gear towards some other options, like I know I've been talking with inspections about tiny homes, not on wheels, but permanent structures that can be upkept as Airbnbs and really tactfully upkept. Mo does a great structure on his property. I've seen it. It's in great shape. I love his work. Don't feel like that would be a problem so much.
You start to wrap it up here at the 4 minutes.
Okay, so anyway, that's my concerns. And we have a drug problem in our area up there, and I don't want this to be a problem, people bringing it in, furthering the problem.
Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, that concludes the public hearing. So, go to public comments. Is there any further public comments? If not, I'm going to turn it over to main man here.
All right, our first plan case is plan case 24-595, and this is a rezoning from RA residential agricultural to RACZ residential agricultural conditional zoning for the construction of a building for a personal workshop and a dog kennel. I see no problem with this request in that the expansion of a building for a personal workshop and dog kennel is in line with the long-range plan because it supports the business-friendly objective as stated in the Stokes County 2035 Comprehensive Plan, as well as supporting agritourism, and that this proposal provides potential tax base increase due to the expansion of commercial property and I feel it's reasonable and in the public interest. A few notes about this particular case. We're looking at a 40-foot by 56-foot building. It'll be roughly 400 feet from the church cemetery that's nearby and somewhere around 500 feet from the church itself. My understanding is it would hold somewhere around 8 dogs, if I'm correct in that. And he has kept in good communication with the church to let them know what he's wanting to do and working with their concerns, those types of things, to ensure that this will be a good thing moving forward. It would have concrete so that you could keep the kennel clean, as well as septic. Donald lives across the road from the property and would take care of issues if they arise. And planning board unanimously approved. And if it would please the board, I would ask Mr. Tyndall to speak on behalf of his project, if that would please the board.
Good evening, Donald Tyndall. The whole premise for this building was to really just have a shop to work on my individual stuff. But when we decided we had to build separate from our primary property, we ran into a lot of issues. And being that we are able to do it over there, I'm able to put a septic in now. So then the kennels got added because that would allow me to keep it cleaner, not have to compost, take a lot of time off, maintaining everything. So that's what came to pass. And then we started dealing with all the zoning stuff. To keep the separation, the church was worried about barking dogs and smell. Septic could take care of the smell issue. Barking dogs, they're dogs. They're bird dogs. They don't bark like hounds. That's what we deal with. We breed and train bird dogs. But we are planning on putting a privacy tree line in using the green giants. That's what we was planning on doing. So it'll take a few years before they get up to where they can really be any help. But to even get the kennel built, there's a lot of hoops you gotta jump through on that side also. So that's a whole separate issue.
Anybody have any question on the board for Mr. Tyndall?
It's pretty well explained in the meeting notes and everything that we have. Looks like he's addressed the concerns of the church and so forth, so I don't have any problems with it.
How is the building going on the site? Will the kennels be facing the church?
No, the kennels are facing the north side. Church is kind of on the southwest side.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Is it you have a commercial activity with the dogs?
Yeah, it's a side gig. I train dogs for people, board dogs for people, do some guiding out Dakotas, Montana, down east here. So.
You breed them and all that and everything?
Yeah, we don't really breeders. I don't try to, I'm not one of those people that want to have a bunch of puppies around.
Yeah.
That's a bad thing in the dog world, I believe. But we breed every other year, just keep our lines going. And pretty selective on who gets those dogs. So.
And you said there would be 8 would be the max number of dogs?
8's, the way the building is set up, 8's the maximum.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Is there any other way, like say for instance, while you're waiting for the trees to grow up, if it became an issue, is there any other way to buffer the sound or?
We train them, well, the dogs that I have 8 dogs myself. The whole purpose of it was just for my dogs. But our dogs are trained with bark arresters. Keep them from barking. So.
Oh, okay.
So they, it's just use a static electricity. It's kind of like a training collar that people would use. So we train them not to bark, and then you put that on them if they're having issues. If you're not around.
So barking's really not going to be an issue.
No, not for my dogs. But if we ever get to the point where we can board, There's going to be people's dogs that I didn't train personally,
Yeah,
you know, and that was where the issue would come.
okay.
Now, I would train them, but it takes a couple weeks. It's not like you put a collar on a dog and let them just go crazy. It'll mess them up. So
Yeah.
you got to train them. It takes time.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's all I have.
Mr. Mendenhall?
Sure. Donald, you make me feel old.
Sorry.
He was one of my students. Southeastern.
Yeah.
I happen to know this situation very well. It's coming down Rosebud, church is on the left, turn maybe 50 feet up the road, and you got Middlebrook on the right. The East Road coming in before the church there. But I read over this couple times. I have no issues with it. And you need to shave next time so you won't make me feel so old there. It's bad when I get students coming on.
Well, when I shave, I look younger, so it'll really make you look old.
No, I've read it. I'm fine with it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
I make a motion to approve the rezoning request number 24-595 submitted by Donald Tyndall to rezone 4.08 acres from RA Residential Agriculture Zoning District to RACZ Residential Agricultural Conditional Zoning District for a personal workshop and dog kennel. This request is consistent with the Stokes County 2035 plan and is a reasonable request.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, Eric, if you want to come up and go to the next one.
The next rezoning request is rezoning request from RA to RA conditional zoning. It's number 24-865. This is rezoning from RA residential agricultural to RACZ residential agricultural conditional zoning for the construction of a campground with a farmer's market and restaurant. I see no problem with this request in that the expansion of a campground with a farmer's market and restaurant is in line with the long-range plan because it supports the business-friendly objective as stated in the Stokes County 2035 Comprehensive Plan, as well as supporting agritourism, and that this proposal provides potential tax base increase due to the expansion of commercial property, and it is reasonable and in the public interest. It's my opinion that this will be a well-built facility that the area can be proud of and have a great agritourism potential. I believe they have the camp, and I think that they're working on a bathhouse as well. Is that right, Brandon? And they'll be working with veterans and kids, teaching skills and life skills as well. I think it's a really great proposal that he has here. The surrounding land use is residential and agricultural with some rural commercial. And from what's already been stated, they do live very close and will be able to get there quickly if an issue arises to maintain the facility. And Planning Board unanimously approved. And at this time, if it would please the board, I'd like Brandon to come up and speak.
Certainly.
Brandon Robertson. Mo's the speaker of the two, and he's in the mountains right now delivering stuff to people on horseback, so y'all stuck with me. And that's what we're about, is helping people, helping the community. I can address some of Ms. Hughes' concerns
Would, yes,
right now.
please.
So 6 or 7 acres that we're having off is nowhere close to her property. It's on the other side of the farm. I can't help what people have done in the past. There is some trashy buildings around there. When Junior Miller gets his heart right, I plan on buying that property and tearing that mess down. There's a couple of other properties. There's a couple of drug houses on Pringle Road that join ours. I plan on buying, I'm trying to buy one of those right now and rid that place of that problem. We've tore down 3 drug houses, demolished, removed, got rid of the problem. We used to have people there daily on that property shooting up. I found needles. I found all kinds of drug paraphernalia. Nobody's been on that property. We've got cameras up. We've cleaned that property of all that problem. The drugs are gone off of that property. I can't help what happens down the road because there is 2 drug houses down the road. I don't own that. The property that we've owned, we've cleaned up. We've restored a barn. We're restoring a barn. I think we've increased the tax value of the property quite a lot. I've cleaned up. Actually, and one of her family members called me when we first bought it and told me how proud he was of me for cleaning it up. And then when I decide to do something, then that changes the tune. As far as people getting on her property, we've got some trails, logging trails we've cleared out mainly for horseback riding. It'll be guided horseback riding. If people want to go walk on those trails, they're more than welcome. None of those trails come anywhere close to their property. They're in the middle of our property to the top of the mountain, and we do own right at 115 to 20 some acres of Little Mountain. We own one side of that mountain. So I can't help what people do in the middle of the night. Mo does have family that will be moving to the property. His sister-in-law is going to be moving to the property probably pretty soon when we get the place ready for her to move on to. And then his brother has plans to move on the property too. So there'll be people on the property full time. We're there every day. Me or Mo or some of the family are there every day working till dark every day. So we're always there. And so it's a 3-phase process. The campground, which will be the bathhouse, and 10 campsites. The campsites are going to be gravel lots. If we up and don't do it, it's a gravel lot. It's not going to be anything there. Well, the structures we're going to build are going to be timber frame structures. Some of y'all have been to Mo's house or seen Mo's stuff. Everything we're building will be timber frame. I've been in construction or a part of building for my whole life. My family owned a building supply in the community. I take a lot of pride in the community. I don't put trash in the community. We don't allow trash to come on our property. We've kicked trash off our property. We're pretty straight shooters. We don't take a lot of lip off people, and we've made that clear. So as far as that, I think I've addressed all that. I hunt. I've hunted that property for 3 years. I plan on to continue hunting that property for 3 years. I don't want people walking under my deer stand when I'm hunting. So I don't see how that's going to affect anything at all. And we've already been doing stuff since we've owned the property. There's been horseback riding. There's been people walking around. Nobody's trespassed as far as I'm aware of. And in their property, you're going to have to go through a cutover and up a mountainside to get to their property from ours. It's not an accessible trail to their property. So I don't see that being a problem at all. So back to our plan, that would be a bathhouse. The bathhouse is going to have about a 24 by 30 classroom in it where we can teach skills. We got welding, building, leather work, timber frame structure, regular carpentry work, leather shop. And the point of that being, we want to teach youth and people in the community to have a skill. So when we open the farmer's market, we want local made stuff in the farmer's market to be sold, preferably by younger people. We want to give people a skill set. A lot of people's losing their farms. Their grandparents had a farm, they farmed it. The grandkids get it, they don't know what to do with the property, they're paying taxes, they sell it. And then you get mobile homes moved in, other houses moved in, the land grows up. We want to be able to teach people a skill to make money on their property, so they don't have to lose their property. We want to be able to turn their property into a money-making. That's what Mo does with the fund he works for. He was an apprenticeship. He was over that. He started over 300 some businesses. So we want to teach people how to use their hands, give them a skill, teach them something, so they can keep their property and their family. And then lastly would be the restaurant, which will be served from the community locally. Everything will be local produce, local meat. May even sell some meat for the farmers out of that. That's basically the plan. So if y'all got any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Is that one, is it, the campsites, or they don't have hookups, electrical and sewer hookups? Or
They're
is it
all
dry
have
camping?
electrical. We're debating on whether to let 3 of them have sewer hookup, but they might just all be bathhouse.
Okay,
Because we've got a septic field plotted out
yeah.
that we'll have enough access to put that in there that would go to the farmer's market and restaurant. I don't know if we're gonna do any septic or not. It might just be the bathhouse. But if we do septic, it would be no more than 3.
Only question.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Entertain a motion.
I'll do one, 24,865, right? Make a motion to approve the rezoning request 24-865 submitted by Maurice Smith and Brandon Robertson to rezone 5.76 plus or minus acres from RA Residential Agricultural Zoning District to RACZ Residential Agricultural Conditional Zoning District for a campground with farmers market and restaurant. This request is consistent with the Stokes County 2035 plan. It is a reasonable request.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any additional comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, Eric.
The next rezoning request is by Jack Whitner and Jamie Whitner. It's from RACU to RACZ, plan case number 24-877. The rezoning from the residential exclusive conditional zoning to RACZ residential agricultural conditional zoning for the construction of a glamping resort with geodesic domes in phase 1. Future phases include container cabins, A-frames, RV camper spaces, bathhouse, multi-use event space, a caretaker's residence, and a maintenance shed. This property was originally rezoned to accommodate a major subdivision that was never built. And so basically, we're going back to correct the zoning in order to put a really nice glamping campground here under the RACZ zoning district. I believe phase 1 has 5 units, if I'm not mistaken, and it was passed by the planning board unanimously. And at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Whitner to come if it would please the board.
Thank you all. I'm Jack Whitner. And I think Eric actually tuned this up here. See something? If not, it's okay. I can go. Oh, nice.
There we go.
But my wife and I actually bought this property about 3 years ago, and it's a really beautiful piece of property with a kind of a panoramic view of Pilot Mountain. And we had the initial intent that we wanted to live there. When we got married, she's not here right now. She's at work. She's a nurse, so long 12-hour shift. But child on the way due in December, and so we kind of shifted our plans from there. We wanted to stay a little bit closer to family, then move here to Pinnacle. So it's such a nice view, and we really thought it would be a good place for people to come and enjoy what Stokes County has to offer, and the area right between Hanging Rock and Pilot Mountain State Park. So in phase 1, we have 5 domes planned. I'd like to get to the master plan here. So you can see phase 1 outlined here with the 5 domes. We wanted to start small because I'm young. I wish I had the money to build it all right now, but that's not a possibility. So we wanted to start with just 5 domes, and we really feel like that would be sufficient to stay busy and draw a new crowd of people into the county and to enjoy this area. In our community meeting, the church that you can see in the rendering across the street, both the pastor and the congregation was really excited about the potential. And we went door to door to neighbors and had a couple of attendees, as you'd see in the notes in our community meeting, and all just a lot of support surrounding it. So it has us really excited about the potential. In the master plan you see there's a total of 39 units, as well as a bathhouse, an owner's residence or a caretaker's residence, because as we grow, we feel like it'll be important to have somebody on site 24/7, and then a kind of base camp event center space as well. But if there's any questions that you guys might have, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions? When you going to start? Pretty soon?
I'd like to start as soon as possible. Yeah, it'd be great to get it open next year.
This plan to try to do it next year then, like next
Correct.
calendar year.
Correct.
Right. Only question.
That was great.
It's a very comprehensive plan. I think you put a lot of thought into it and done your due diligence with the planning process, it looks like. So that's really good. It would be a really good place to do what you're wanting to do there, right at the foot of Pilot Mountain. Yep, it's beautiful. I like the lodge idea as well, like a multi-purpose type.
Is the base camp building?
Yeah.
We have that. Then we also have we're calling it the reunion lodge, because growing up, my family liked to go to a cabin in the woods for family reunions. So to have that option and really, bring a big family would be
That's
something
a good
I enjoyed
idea.
growing up. I think other people would too.
For sure. Get that thing built and I'll just put all my grandkids there when they come visit.
Mr. Mendenhall?
Say, I got a place for you.
But don't have a go-kart track.
Exactly.
I was looking at your 4 types of the unit lodging, and just out of curiosity, the dome one shape, did you get that idea from somewhere, or did you develop that idea on your own?
I've seen those. There's a couple similar type resorts in Western North Carolina.
There were.
Yeah, I know. And that's where I saw it. I love the idea. I love that big window in the front, because we can face that right towards the knob, and people can see what they came there to see. But also just like it, because it's different. It's not somewhere that you can stay anywhere. It's not a Hampton Inn room. It's a little bit, I like to think, cooler than that. So
Is it bear proof?
Yeah.
bear proof. It should be pretty substantial. I'll have to ask them if it's bear proof.
We do have bears around,
Yeah.
and I can assure you, we have
Just tell people to bring their own bear
got
spray.
2 or 3 at my house right now.
Make sure we.
I picked it up when my deer hunting goes. Saw the bears the other day, so I'm right down by my house. 3 that we picked up on that camera, but no, I just thought that was a unique. The A-frame and different things, or, I'm not going to say commonplace, but they're usual. The dome one was the one that got my attention, but I read over it. I think you've got a very, very good plan to develop, and it's certainly in a great location. And my wife goes up between Hanging Rock and Pilot every year. Beautiful location. I mean, beautiful. So I'm good to go with it, Mr. Chairman.
I entertain a motion to,
I'll go ahead and make a motion. It's okay with you? Make a motion to approve rezoning request number 24877 submitted by John Whitner, Jack Whitner, and Jamie Whitner. Rezone 10.33 plus or minus acres from RECU residential exclusive conditional zoning district to RACZ residential agricultural conditional zoning district for a glamping resort. This request is consistent with the Stokes County 2035 plan and is a reasonable request.
Second.
Any further comments, questions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion we adjourn.
Mr. Chair,
Come out. Sorry.
under other business, I believe our new county manager and the clerk to the board would like to address you guys on a subject.
Yeah, I guess I can take this one. I'm the new guy here, and so I got my eyes wide open, and I'm asking questions about why we do things the way we do. And so when I saw this meeting pop up, it's something different. It's not something I'm accustomed to. So I just asked why. Why do we do planning agenda items separate in a separate meeting? And I think we're kind of at the point now where we don't really know why. It was just kind of always been that way. So we thought we might just take the opportunity to ask you if this is the way you prefer to keep doing this, or might you otherwise be more disposed to just taking care of planning related things as they pop up in your regular scheduled meetings.
I know me, I'd just rather have it in a regular scheduled meeting.
I think so too.
I'm good with that.
I am too, unless there's some statutory thing that says they have to be separate or something. I don't see any reason to do extra meetings.
Yeah, no, the planning board would still have their separate meeting like they
Yeah.
normally do, just because that's statutorily,
But we can
yeah.
still
but-
bring it into our meeting.
Exactly, they would
Yes.
just recommend it, and then we'd handle it at whatever the next regular commissioners meeting was.
Right.
So I think we talked, and they've already been advertised, the planning meetings have for the rest of the year. So if y'all were okay with that, we would just start 2025 with handling it like that.
Or we could do it sooner if we just update
It's fine, yeah.
the meeting schedule, but
Seems soon.
or just cancel those meetings.
Because there's
Yeah.
just one scheduled the rest of the year, right? December.
Is that what it is?
I
Yeah.
think that is correct.
Yeah, you could just cancel
Just
that
cancel
one.
that
Put
meeting, yeah.
canceled on there and
Yeah.
handle it at the regular meetings.
Very good.
Yeah, okay.
That's a good idea.
Wouldn't this also keep people from having to wait so long if we did it at the regular meetings? Sometimes
Well,
where they have to wait or not, or does it
You
matter?
have to wait for the planning board to meet.
Yeah, so that would still drive the
Right,
schedule
and
in.
I see what you're saying, yeah, then people wouldn't have to wait for the next opportunity to do a dedicated planning meeting. It could be just integrated. I think there is a little bit of a downside. If you add it to regular meetings, then regular meetings are longer, and so people that are there for business for that meeting will have to wait a little bit longer to get their business attended to, but it's kind of a trade-off.
I guess you could look at whether you integrate it into the other agenda or make it two little separate agendas or something, and then
Yeah.
figure out which one you want to do first.
Yeah,
I think
Like
we
that.
could probably just integrate it into information, discussion, and then move it to action.
Yeah.
So I guess we got a consensus to,
Okay.
let's do that.
I've got one other thing I'd like to engage you on. Contemplating changing the audio-visual setup in this room just a little bit, and before we spend any money on that, I want to gauge your interest in it. Right now, we just had an example here where we got this little screen right here, and depending on the size of the font and print and stuff, you guys probably are squinting to try to figure out what's on this little screen here. So that's one challenge. Another challenge is that our audience that are taking advantage of the video feature
See
to
the-
watch meeting can't see any audio-visual presentations, right? So that's a second challenge. And the third is that we do have a dedicated monitor over here for folks in the audience that are here in person to look at, but it's kind of small and it's set back there a little bit. So what we're contemplating is hanging two monitors from the ceiling right in front of and above the podium. And we've done the calculations and the measurements, and we can do that and still provide you as commissioners a clear line of sight all the way back to the back wall and see everything that's in the room. And it provides a clear line of sight for everybody that's sitting in the audience here, and it can see all of you and all the wall behind you. And it also, if we just change the orientation of the camera a little bit, it would be offer the opportunity for people that are viewing from home or otherwise remotely to see what's on the presentation as well. The money is in the budget. We'll have to forego purchasing something. We probably didn't need this in the budget in order to do that, but I think we could move forward pretty quickly on this if that's something you guys are interested in.
Any questions of the manager?
I like it. I like the idea.
Yeah, I think it'd be beneficial to have that.
Okay.
Yeah. Just get us a plan, an estimate, and timeline, and
Yeah.
sounds good.
Okay.
Anything else?
Until next time.
Nothing else?
We're on a roll.
Nothing else?
That's it.
On a
And
roll.
I'm gonna do it again. I'll make a motion with adjourn.
Second.
Any comments, questions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.